got to accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative. Latch on to the affirmative. Don't mess with Mr. In Between. You got to spread joy up to the maximum. Bring gloom down to the minimum. Have faith or pandemonium. Allow me to walk on the scene to illustrate my last remark. Don't in the way, you'll know in the arc. What did they do when everything seems so dark? They said you better accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative. Latch on to the affirmative. Don't mess with Mr. In Between. Don't mess with Mr. In Between. Woo. Yeah. All right. Hey, that's Dr. Laz from MIA. That's Miami in the 305, a.k.a. Laz Manazeh. Hope y'all guys are doing super well. Just wanted to share with you one quick thought about this week's Torah portion, and it's based on a great Dvar Torah that I received. Some thoughts for the week from Rabbi Mendelson out in Wyoming. The focus is all about on the positive. And it's very interesting. I'll just share with you and then share just a story with you about that. So, Rabbi Mendelson spoke about that we find an interesting thing here. Moses on top of the mountain, and this Torah portion of Kitisa or Kisisa, which by the way is 139 psukim, and together with 22 verses, the special reading that we do for Parshat Parah, which is a special Torah reading this week. Another 22 psukim, so you get 39, 49, 59, 161 psukim altogether. It's a long Torah laning, Torah reading this Shabbat. And so the whole idea is thinking positive. Moses on top of the mountain, and this is when the people built a golden calf, right? They got confused. Moses told them he's going to be back at a certain time. He doesn't come back at that specific time, what they thought, and they start freaking out. They end up building a golden calf, and this is the thing that took us out of Egypt, et cetera, et cetera. So God tells Moses, "Oh, you better go down fast from the mountain, get back to your people." Because of what they did, what's going on. They built the golden calf. And so we find that Moses comes down the mountain. He gets down to the mountain. He sees what's going on. And then either he throws the tablets to the ground, or he breaks them, or they're simply too heavy for him to hold anymore. And they break. 2 tablets break, which, by the way, they're not really round on top like you see in a lot of the synagogues that portrayed like that. They were really cubical. The Talmud speaks about it. But anyhow, so the question is asked, hey, God just tells you something, and why didn't he break them right then and there? Why didn't he freak out and get all upset? Like, oh, that's crazy. Oh my gosh, I can't believe they did that. He comes down the mountain, he sees what's going on, and then the tablets are broken. So what's the story with that? And so we see a fascinating thing that people sometimes are very quick to believe negative stuff that they hear. And sorry, I'll be there in a sec. Somebody's knocking on my door in the music room. This is the music room, by the way, which is really a multi-sensory room, as you can tell. It's a very cool room. And this is at the Quest Center in the Hollywood Broward Public Schools. So yeah, even though God himself is telling Moses this, he didn't fully accept it until he saw it with his own eyes. And so this great, thank you, Rabbi Mendelson, for sharing this great, your thoughts on this Torah portion, that it's the idea of we're all too quick sometimes to latch on to something we hear, something negative that we hear. And many of the times it's not even true, right? Most of the time, I would say it's not even true. It's just people, speaking ill about somebody else, something else is going on. And so it's really a matter of, right? Accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative, don't mess with the Mr. in between. And so, real quick story, but it happened to me this past Purim. Now, you might think it's nothing major, but I thought it was pretty cool. It's this idea of staying positive. So there was two on Purim. We give out gifts of food to anybody. You're supposed to give out like 2 gifts of food. You're supposed to give out at least 1 gift of food. I'm sorry, and then give charity to at least 2 poor people, 2 people in need. And so we gave out a whole bunch, and there was 2 that I still had to go, and I wasn't sure. I knew where one lived, but he lived in an apartment building, and with COVID and everything, I didn't want to go in there. And actually, this individual had COVID like a month ago, and is still like in the recovery phase. Thank God he's out of the hospital, but I didn't want to go in there. And the second one, I didn't really know where the address was. So now it was also late Friday afternoon. The Sabbath is coming. The Sabbath is like I was like within a half hour. So in the community, most people are in their homes getting ready and stuff like that. So I gave out a few that I had to give out, and I drove to their homes. And so then this one, I just happened to see somebody walking on the street, and I stopped him. I said, "Do you know where so-and-so lives?" And he tells me, "Oh yeah, you just turn around, and it's the second house from the corner." So I was like pretty close, and so that was pretty cool. Okay, drop it off, beautiful. The next one was more complicated, but I decided for both of these, I'm just gonna make the effort, and let's see how events can be orchestrated that'll help me fulfill this particular mitzvah, this good deed for for Purim and right before the Sabbath. And so the second one was I pulled in front of this apartment complex, and it's actually 2 big buildings connected. And I pull up, and I'm just waiting to see, well, okay, what's going to happen? All right, Hashem, it's in your hands. I'm here waiting to do the mitzvah. Let's see. A car pulls up behind me, sort of blocks me in. And I get a little irritated. I'm thinking, oh, great. Now you block me in. I can't even get out of here. And, let me go out and see what's going on. So I get out of the car, go around the back of the car, and who is getting out of the car at that moment is somebody who is related to this particular individual, okay? And in fact, her kids live in not only in one of the apartment buildings, but she was going to visit her kids to bring them these gifts, what are called shalach manot, these gifts of food to her kids. And this individual who's related to them lives right next door to these kids. I give her the bag, she takes them in. So we got to realize that we got to accentuate the positive. And sometimes you just got to just make the effort. And we're only co-pilots at best, right? We like to think of ourselves as pilots, that we're like, we're directing the ship, we're directing the plane, we're in charge, but we're not really. We're sort of, not that we're pawns in the game. We've got free choice, but we just got to get out there and do what we got to do, and the rest will be taken care of. Doesn't mean you don't make the effort. You make the effort, all right, and the rest will happen. So we just gotta accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative. Don't mess with Mr. In Between. You got to spread joy up to the maximum, bring gloom down to the minimum. Have faith or pandemonium, allowed to walk on the sea. To illustrate my last remark, Jonah in the whale, Noah in the ark. What did they do when everything seems so dark? They said you gotta accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative. Latch on to the affirmative. Don't mess with Mr. In Between. Don't mess with Mr. In Between. Actually, let me end with this jazz chord. There we go. Everybody have a wonderful Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. Have a great Sabbath. Remember to bring in the Sabbath moments into your lives, okay? And all that means is, so you don't have to be Orthodox Jewish to observe the Sabbath. You just take whatever moments are your sort of hallowed moments. You're learning together with your kids. You're having dinner together with your family. You're going out to dinner with a significant other or with your kids. Put away the dang cell phones and talk to each other. All right? You're reading a bedtime story. Put away the cell phones and talk to each other. You're with your significant other. Turn off your media and your social media, anti-social media. Turn off your cell phones a half hour, an hour before going to bed and talk to each other. All right? Increase the peace, y'all. Have a wonderful Shabbat and happy Sabbath and great weekend. Peace out.